All right, great. So it looks like we have plenty of people joined and we're ready to get started at this point. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for joining our pharmacovigilance webinar. Today, Pharmica consultant Matt Barron is going to walk us through a presentation and live demonstration and field any questions that you have. Please feel free to use the GoToMeeting interface to ask questions at any time during the presentation as well. And like I said, we'll have a QA session at the end. I also wanted to take a moment to let you know that the webinar you're attending today is one of 3 webinars Pharmica is hosting this month. Just last week, we hosted a SharePoint migration webinar, which we've posted on pharmicaconsulting.com. And next Tuesday, the 23rd, we're hosting a webinar where we will demonstrate Pharmica's SharePoint-based resource management tool and show how it's helping companies bridge the gap between Excel and million-dollar solutions. You can see all the details and register for that at pharmicaconsulting.com. So with that, I will turn it over to Matt Barron. Matt, take it away.
Thank you, Billy. Good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay?
Hear you loud and clear, Matt.
Thank you, Billy. So the title, as you can see on the screen here for this webinar, is Pharmacovigilance, Quality and Compliance, Managing the Risk while Retaining Flexibility and Efficiency, which I'm sure we can all agree is ever critical in all PV organizations across the industry. Excuse me, I apologize, everybody. It seems that my slideshow is not working. We're just going to take a quick detour, and there we go. Sorry about that. So before we jump into the content, I wanted to share a quick background on myself and who Pharmica Consulting is. Pharmica Consulting was founded about 10 years ago by Matt Kiernan and Eric Lake, and over the last 10 years, Pharmica has helped multiple pharma companies achieve operational excellence throughout their organizations. At its core, Pharmica is made up of smart, down-to-earth people that clients want to work with. Our people work with clients to adapt their organizations to accommodate the overwhelming changes attributed to market pressure, evolving regulations, technology enhancements, and internal growth, etc. All in all, Pharmica will help get things done for your organization. A little bit about me. My name is Matt Barron, and I'm a senior consultant and PD practice lead for Pharmica. In addition to the ever-famous Pina Coladas and Dancing in the Rain, I have about 10 years experience in the industry throughout many areas such as research, project management, portfolio management, PV, and operations. In those areas, I've been working to help, working for and help multiple pharma companies build the infrastructure to achieve the ever-coveted operational excellence. So diving into the content of the meeting. A safety database is an essential tool for all PV organizations. It is, however, very technically complex and historically has given tremendous challenges for companies to be able to articulate how the structure and interface aligns with the PV operational processes that govern the input and data management of the data. It is also important to recognize that databases are not fully suited to oversee quality and compliance of PV operations at an acceptable level to a regulatory authority. Due to these complexities and system limitations, companies experience additional challenges demonstrating proper oversight of quality and compliance of their PV processes. And then again, during inspections and audits, these challenges create tremendous risk for the organization to be susceptible to findings of all levels, major, minor, and even critical. So just to review some of the statistics that are seen on the slide here, and according to FDA News, in 2014, there were almost 3,600 CAPAs issued. Of those CAPAs issued, almost 10% of them were attributed to inadequate procedure citations, and therefore at an average remediation cost, as you can see, of $150K per CAPA. It is very clear that the challenges in demonstrating proper oversight of quality and compliance of the critical PV processes that govern the database are causing significant financial investment for the company. In addition, over the last decade, PV organizations have outsourced their key systems and activities. This has only compounded the historical challenges in oversight of quality and compliance. When outsourcing these systems and/or activities, the high staff turnover within the CROs and significant reduction in the visibility of the activities exacerbates the risk for companies to understand when there is a process execution issue, what is the true root cause. This lack of understanding of true root cause makes it difficult for the company to implement an effective CAPA to address the underlying issue. Again, the lack of understanding of root cause can potentially lead to ineffective CAPA implementation, which will ultimately lead to increased risk for additional findings during audits and inspections, and even more negative, or more challenging, a negative perception potentially from the regulatory authorities that the company is able to manage their safety operations appropriately. So this slide here provides a nice overview of the PV activities within the organization and categorizes those areas that we feel are at risk of being susceptible to issues in quality and compliance when they are outsourced. And as you can imagine, it is very clear through outsourcing of any reporting and submission activities, there really carries tremendous risk, especially within compliance. So Pharmica Consulting has created a quality and compliance oversight tool for PV organizations. And this slide here overlays the areas within the PV organization that we feel the tool is able to impact to enable the proper quality and compliance oversight that is required. So now I want to go into a little more about the structure of the tool and the supporting processes that it offers. So within the tool, there are 7 unique PV processes that it provides. And again, those processes really align across the functions: aggregate reports, case processing, risk management plans, tracking, safety data management, and the type of support it provides. Again, within compliance and quality, there's really one key process for the function for each. Specifically, I do want to add that in addition to a combination of database fields that are utilized, we also leverage in the area of 160 additional fields across those processes that will help enhance the capability for the company to provide an analysis of the quality and compliance within the PV organization for their functions. One example that we'll do a demo of today is supporting PV processes for late case monitoring. So again, there's really one, and this is really around compliance for case processing. There's one supporting PV process and 7 additional fields that out of the box we would recommend to merge with safety database fields that will help enhance the capability for the company to do a good analysis and ensure proper oversight. This next slide here kind of shows a breakdown of the visualizations that the tool offers. The visualization on the right is from the quality of case processing, just as an example. And you can kind of see that I think the key thing to point out here is the look and feel is very similar. And I think what this offers is really a nice, consistent look where the end user will be able to, no matter what module they're looking at, be able to really understand the flow of the analysis quickly. In addition to the consistent look and feel, I do want to point out that there is definitely, with respect to the actual graphs and visualizations shown, there's very, very unique data sets that are driving the outputs of these visualizations. So they really will help guide the key analysis that is required for that particular function. Just wanted to call out this slide as a case study as an example of the utility that one of our clients did benefit from. And again, I just want to point out this definitely is dummy data. But what we did see in the utility of this tool specific to the late case monitoring was that the client was able to identify the given report type, responsible party, and high-level reason, which all attributed to a very, very targeted solution. And that key finding was across multiple cases, and the process enables them to address multiple cases with just a handful of CAPAs. And I think that ultimately attributed to just 2 or 3 implementations of CAPAs showed this demonstrated a 20% increase in overall compliance in just 2 months' time, which is, as we can all imagine, is a very valuable and beneficial result for the organization. So from a presentation standpoint, that was all I had. If there's any questions, I can take them now, or we can move into the demo.
Hi, Matt. We didn't get any questions during the presentation, so you are good to move into the demo.
Thank you, Billy. Okay, so this is the, just to share, this is actually the visualization, and again, as I had mentioned, the late case monitoring and visualization report. I'll take you through first some of the navigation just to show, and then we'll get into some details around how this visualization is utilized, and then finally move into the overall data input layer that's really driving the data that feeds this visualization. So again, from a navigation, just for an orientation purposes, we've broken this tool down into 3 sections. The data management tools, and again, pretty sleek navigation, is where you can easily see for each function where the source data is coming from, and easily navigate to those different data sources quickly to ensure proper, for the end user to ensure proper management of them. The next section is the executive leadership, and this breaks it down at an executive level for quality and compliance. And what those visualizations really provide are a grouping of the overall summaries for each one of the modules, and that gives a high-level insight into how the overall organization is performing, and is there any red flags that need to be further investigated as defined by the overall percentages, which we'll get into in a minute. The final one is the metric assessment report, and again, these are the visualizations that are outputted on the compliance and quality side. And again, this is really just simple, nice navigation and easy to use. So the one we're looking at here is the metric assessment report for compliance and case processing, right here. And again, coming to this screen, you'll be able to, just to take you through the quick overview of what's demonstrated. The ICSR late submission compliance, the first 2 graphs will highlight the high-level reason and subcategory reason that's defined per the supporting process by a case-level analysis that's done on a regular basis, and that case-level analysis, the data input layer, is where that information is captured. And again, it's outputted here, and this is really defined by the overall process steps in the company's workflow. On the right, the overall summary really is going to just show what the total number of cases that are being shown in the actual report, the number of cases that were late, and then also the overall percentage. And as you see, this is turned red. What this really shows, and based on the company's requirements, we like to flag this as if it drops below a certain threshold, whether that's 95, 98%, whatever the company prefers, it would turn red at that point. And if it stays above or at that threshold, it would say green or not be flagged. And again, the next visualization within this report that we offer is a country level analysis. And this is really kind of nice because it shows an overall breakdown of, within the country, how many reports are being seen as late versus on time. And again, this is actually really nice to be able to see if there's what percentage within that country is having late issues, so that you can better understand if it really is a country level issue, or if it's attributed to a given product or responsible party in that fashion. One thing I'd also like to point out in all of the visualizations that it offers is the capability to actually see the raw data that is underlying. So if I just click on this here, and I just click on this little button here, what we'll be able to see is the detailed underlying data, raw data, that supports those overall graphs in each one of the visualizations. So it's fairly dynamic and quite nice from a visualization standpoint and an analysis standpoint. The next thing that I wanted to point out on the right side is also the filters that are going to be offered. And again, this is really filters that are pulled right in from the raw data set. And it gives the capability, just as an example, if I want to look at a given product or if for a given reporting period, you'll see as I'm navigating through and selecting a couple of these products, the overall graph, all the visualizations will update automatically, as well as the overall. So you get a better understanding of the actual data set you're looking at. And again, you can do multiple filters at once for any one of these. So you can do multiple for looking at a set of products for a given time period. So it really offers a very, very nice data analysis tool to kind of be able to showcase what you're looking at. Okay, so that being said, the next step I wanted to jump into now is show the data input layer, and this really can be navigated to in two ways. Obviously, simply via the data management tool navigation bar up top, or for each module, they'll have the specific source list listed in the link on that visualization screen. So if I just click on this and that to navigate to that real quick, you'll be able to see at a high level what the data input layer looks like. And it's very, very simple. It's a simple user interface, which I think is really attributes to the nice capability to have the end user uptake really quickly to it. So just to show, the idea is that these would be cases that are listed with late submissions, and the process is really to go in, edit the item, and then quickly be able to see the underlying data. And this underlying data is imported direct. The idea is that this is imported directly from a database output, and then the key end user will have to really just classify based on a case level analysis the actual high-level reason, subcategory reason, and responsible party. And again, you can see these are all standardized to help align with structured tracking for all of this information. And again, finally, the responsible party will be defined third. They really are the three key fields if you wanted to provide additional responsible party information, the handoff late point, and then also additional information that is welcome as well. And then finally, the root cause for late submission, corrective action, preventative action can also be tracked at this level once it is defined. So once this is populated, the user would just have to select Save. And then that update to the information would now feed those metric assessment reports that the analysis stakeholders would be able to further dive in to classify and do the proper analysis to ensure the oversight. So I'll stop there. That was all I had from a demo perspective today. Are there any questions on the line?
Hey, Matt. Thanks. That was great. And yeah, we got a couple of questions come in, and I will go through them as I receive them. Once again, everyone can use their the GoToMeeting interface to submit any questions that you have for Matt. So I'll go through them. The first question we have is, can I use this solution to help with outsourcing and partnerships? Has it been used for this?
Thank you, Billy. A great question, and the answer is absolutely. But within each one of the modules that we offer, that within the compliance and quality for all the functions, there always is a tracking. There is always a tracking data field of responsible party or CRO that we're able to help track and specify and target the actual responsible party there and track oversight of their particular compliance and quality performance. So absolutely, the capability is there across the tool.
Apologies. Yeah, sorry, no, that was my fault. I apologize. Next question we have here is, where is your data coming from?
Thank you, Billy. Another good question. The data is actually coming from, as I had mentioned, a combination of the data input layers, and that is the primary data source, and then in some instances across the different modules, it is merged with safety database information that automatically feeds those reports. So it really is a combination, but again, that's where the ultimate data source is truly coming in from the data input layer.
Great. Next question up is this solution validated?
Again, thanks again. So the solution actually is out of the box not validated, but what we have done for certain clients is actually validated based on their internal requirements, and we've done that deliberately because I know certain companies have different policies and different preferences when it comes to validation. So we really do validation. We will do validation for the tool, but out of the box it is not validated. It's more of on an ad hoc basis.
Great. Next question we have is, how difficult or how long does it take to implement this solution?
Again, a very good question. I think the timeline that we have seen is out of the box is really typically about 4 to 6 weeks that we see for implementation. The one caveat there is it really is going to depend on the requirements and availability of the client to get those requirements, as well as get them defined. That really and those requirements will drive how much customization is going to be required. So typically about 4 to 6 weeks, but depending on the level of customization can vary a little bit as well.
Okay, great. And it looks like this is the last question I've received. So if you have any, if we're going to end after this one, if you have any more questions, please feel free to type them in. Final question we have here is, do I have the flexibility to customize the fields in the data input layer?
Thank you, Bill. Yes, absolutely, there is that capability. As I just spoken about requirements gathering, that is really where we help define that. We have within the out-of-the-box solution, we have a broad range of recommended fields and choices within those fields that we can offer within the data input layers. But at the same time, too, we would also help guide the client in making sure that the fields they're selecting, the choices within those fields, align best with their business processes, as well as only really selecting the fewest fields, so they're not really taking any redundant fields. We really only take the critical fields to help drive and enhance the overall analysis. So the short answer is absolutely the customization is capable.
Okay, well that seems to be, let me just double check here, that seems to be all the questions that we've received today. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. We'll be posting this webinar on the Pharmica website. I'll send out an email notifying all of you when it's up, so if you enjoyed the content and know anyone else in your workplace or network who might benefit from seeing it, please share it with them. If anyone is interested in learning more about Pharmica and the work we do with pharmacovigilance or any of our other areas, feel free to reach out to myself or Matt, and don't forget about those other webinars I mentioned. So again, thank you all for joining us.